Well, let's talk about that. Detained under the White House. This is a kid who's just graduated from Connecticut College.
Yeah, he's a great kid. His name's Usman Kosa. He's really kind of pride of Pakistan, one of the best students in Lahore. He comes to America. He's a great student here. And he's an economic consultant in Washington, walking to work. His office is just a block from the White House. He keeps his suits at the office, so he's in his gym shorts. He's got his iPod on. He's walking in front of the White House. He looks wrong. He's fussing with his iPod. Someone at Secret Service sees him. They take him down. They drag him into an interrogation room under the White House. There actually is one.
First they say rip his backpack off.
They rip his backpack off. People are running. They think a bomb's about to go off. Usman's pleading with them, saying, no, please. He says, I went to Dartmouth for a summer program. He's trying to throw out every credential he can. Ultimately, none of that works. He's dragged into this interrogation room. He spends a day literally in hell.
Under the White House?
Under the White House. If you go in the West Gate, down through a hall, and it's the classic with the camera and the light bulb and the cement walls. Usman really is sitting here. Again, he's a brilliant kid, and he's saying one wrong answer to these questions. It's like the flipping of a coin is the difference between here and me in Guantanamo Bay. In some ways, he's a kindred of many other characters whose fortunes have been much darker. And Usman, at the time this is happening, of course, I have George Bush just above him running through his day, full of official pronouncements about America's virtue, while Usman, of course, is beneath the ground, feeling the voyage of the damned.
Even though he's terribly afraid, he says, at least you quote him in the book, saying, oh, he couldn't get out of his mind that, oh, my God, there's a cell in the basement of the White House, this place that he passed all the time.
Yeah, and he loved, as a lot of immigrants do, he loved looking at the White House. You know, in a way, the challenge for Usman and the challenge for much of the book is I follow him over the 2 years after this moment as he struggles to reimagine America and reimagine his place in America and whether there is one. You know, in some ways, that's the real challenge we're facing now as we try to repair America's place in the world, its moral energy, is whether these values still are going to have resonance. And Usman's experiment, his life, is in a way an experiment about that.
You talk about his father, and you talk about September 11th. His father, a top security official from Pakistan.
Yeah, he's here. It's interesting because he's here doing a seminar down south when the 9/11 attacks occur, and he comes up to Connecticut College to see Usman. Just a few days after, and he gives a tutorial in the dorms about what's really happening in Pakistan. And ultimately, he says to Usman, hold on to your dreams. Don't let those be troubled or darkened by what's happening now. And interestingly, Usman, as other characters in the book, are really, in a way, testing American values at a time of peril and trying to get past so many of the perfidies, so many of the awful, harrowing disclosures of what the government has done, not only from other reporters, but certainly in this book, to say, where do we go from here in terms of America and its role in the world and American ideals? That's in a way why the word hope is in the book, because you see people trying to get their legs back and trying to restore their own moral compass. Interestingly, for either an individual or for a nation, you know, following one's moral compass, it's not that different. You know, ultimately it takes basic things like truth, humility, compassion, honesty, saying, I'm ready to move forward based on what I will say clearly I have learned.